Hello, I'm Daniel DePledge, and my role was primarily as a 3D artist, doing modelling, some texturing, rigging and animating. I was also the Scrum Master and assisted across different areas of the project.
Hello, my name is Miller Mystery, and my role was being one of the two game programmers creating the code in which the game runs on, as well as the code for the main menus.
My name's Elliot Jervis, and I was one of 4 game artists working on this project. My role was to create different 3D assets for the environment.
Hello, I'm Ashley Farmer. I'm a gameplay programmer and I was responsible for creating the inventory system and everything that comes with it, including the shop and selling.
Hi, I'm George Muscroft and I was the lead 2D artist focusing on texturing and concept art. I was also the note taker for the Scrum meetings.
Hello, I am Luna Ashton and I'm the primary game designer on this project.
Hi, my name is James Williams and I was one of the 2 game designers working on this game. My role in the project was working on design of the full balanced game loop, balancing stats and variables along with sound design.
The name of our game is Snailien Invasion. Basically, sort of survival farming management type game where you have to plant crops like corn on the cobs and stuff like that during the daytime. And then when it turns to night time, there are multiple large snails that come and try and eat the crops. The objective is to wipe them all out.
So, when you first load into the game, you start with a few key items. These items are a sickle and a rifle. You're able to plant the seeds into any of the crop patches. Once you have planted these, you must wait before you can harvest them using the sickle. Now that you have harvested your crops and have obtained some sweet, sweet vegetables, head on over to the selling point, which is a yellow circle. If you drop your items into this circle by pressing Q on your keyboard, you will sell your items in return for some money. You can then use this money in the shop to purchase more seeds. Now that you have the gist of the game down, it's important to mention the super evil snails, which will show up during the night. You must use your rifle to eliminate the snails, preventing your crops from being destroyed. If you let the snails destroy all of your crops, the game will be over. Your goal is to survive as long as possible and make as much money as possible before the game ends.
We wanted to make a simple farming game that had a twist. This idea eventually became defending the farm from something that would appear at night. We worked this in the gameplay loop with mechanics such as the crops taking multiple days to finish growing, meaning you had to successfully defend them for a couple of days, be able to harvest them.
This part of the video will just be gameplay with a few comments here and there to explain things that are going on. So enjoy. Each crop also has a progress bar. the daytime, the snails try and get back to their spawn points. You can still kill them and get 1 coin for each one you kill. Once all the patches of land have been eaten and there's nowhere left to plant crops, the game is over.
For our project, we used Unreal Engine and Blueprints as our game engine and scripting system of choice. We chose these because we believed that it would give us the best chance of not only creating a finished product, but also one which we think everyone in the group would be happy to showcase at the end. As soon as we started on our project, the organisation and communication between all members of the team was very strong. The way we version controlled was pretty simple. Every time someone had finished working on the project for that version they were on, they would upload their progress to our shared Google Drive before renaming to the next version number. So that you may be thinking is what happens when, for example, 2 people are working on the project at once, and this is where merging comes in. The process of merging is simply getting 2 versions of whatever you're working on and migrating assets from one project to the other, then creating a new version with everything that both people had worked on.
The Miro board was very helpful to visually keep track of all of our work. It's where we kept all of our references, concept art, design plans, as well as links to the drive and various documents. It also worked well to keep track of what work each person had done per week to make sure that we were all doing enough individually. We used the Trello board as a main board of tasks we knew we wanted to achieve, and whilst it was used to mark completed work, we could have utilised it more to keep a full record of when tasks were filled out.
Every Tuesday we had our weekly Scrum meeting. There were often times in the project where it felt like some people weren't quite clued in, especially those who weren't as active in the first couple weeks. These meetings were very helpful in making sure that everyone was on board with what we were doing. Each Scrum meeting, I would make sure that tasks were delegated to each member of the team, and we made sure that each week those tasks were done. With George taking notes, I believe the Scrums contributed toward a well-communicated final vision and ultimately a lovely final product. Alongside this, our main source of communication was Discord, which we used to quickly send each other various files. Along with Google Drive, we had a well-established communication and organisation space running throughout the entire project, which again contributed to the project going as well as it did.
One area of the project I was really proud of was the amount we were able to achieve. There was hardly anything that we didn't manage to get done of our initial ideas, from what was programmed to all of the artwork, which I was very pleased with.
I think in terms of our art style, we've managed to keep it very consistent throughout, and I think that's mostly due to really good planning at the beginning of the project.
The main problem I faced throughout the project was when creating the snail enemy code. I was struggling to be able to make them spawn between the hours we wanted them to overnight, as well as creating spawns which would be random as to where the snails would appear from. Turning to the internet did also not help, as the solutions that the internet was given were irrelevant to what we'd already created. In the end, the solution to my problem was to in effect ask someone else for help. I reached out to the group, in which Dan then responded, and helped to give a new set of arts to my problem, which we then resolved together.
We had a problem a couple times where Unreal Engine kept crashing on startup, and I fixed this by essentially removing the editor startup level so that no level opens up when you open up the project.
My favourite part of the project was the day we put all the models and textures into the game, and laid it out in the level, turning the simple block out into our original vision.
My favourite part about the project was seeing it all come together at the end, seeing the whole thing as a fully finished game, because it was finished and it looked amazing. I was in a little bit of shock when I saw the thing at the end. Pretty good.
I think that maybe next time I should make some more props to fill out the level a bit more.
It definitely feels as though as time's gone on, there's been a lot more stress around work and there's been a lot more work to do, which I think if we had properly gotten the full scope of the project from day one, that might not have happened. So in future, it could be a good idea to spread the work evenly across the weeks to avoid having that pile up of work near at the end of the project. The main downfall of this project is that we've been unable to successfully package it. The issue is every time you drop something in the packaged version, the inventory doesn't really want to update, and so you'll drop a sickle, it's a corn seed, which is actually just empty inventory data that stacks in your inventory as nothing essentially, and we can't find a fix for that. We've tried looking at soft object references and cooking the game and exporting different package settings. Everything hasn't worked, and we spent like a whole 4 or 5 hours in just a voice chat trying to figure it out. And overall, we've decided the best course of action will be to submit the Duff packaged version and have the actual project files marked as the game. I asked Adam about this. He said that should be fine. As long as it's all labelled, the project files will be just fine. They'll work. Overall, the entire team was kind of, a little bit disheartened by the fact that we couldn't actually package the game or have a standalone version to play. I would say, in spite of this, though, that we've had a really good run as a team, and that we've come up with a game that we're all really, really proud of. Obviously there's been problems, solutions, there's been setbacks in the project. But I really think overall that we've done a great job with this. I think it's a really quality piece of work, and everyone involved with it has just really done a pretty good job of it.
That's all for now. Happy snailing.